Hello, everyone. I am here back with David Prager.
Hello.
We are going to give you a special surprise and an update on how Dennis is doing. It's been really fun to see David in Los Angeles every month, given that you visit with your dad so frequently. And I'll just start with Dennis has been in recovery for the last 4 months.
Yeah, just about yesterday. Well, yesterday's Tuesday's 15 weeks. So yeah, just about 4 months.
So just about 4 months.
Yeah, long time.
And he's making a lot of progress. As you know, it was a serious spinal cord injury. And so, we're not going to see overnight healing, but we're seeing amazing progress. And maybe we just start with your recording from yesterday from Dennis.
Yeah, I asked him if he wanted to say anything to the followers here at PragerU, the listeners, viewers, and he absolutely said he wants to. He's loving to speak these days, and now you'll hear why.
Here we go.
I'm really feeling much better, as you can hear. My voice is practically normal, which is very exciting because I intend to go back on a radio. And we'll release the date, I think, within a week. And my beloved son, one of my beloved sons, but my beloved son, David, is here with me. And I can't tell you how much he has done for me.
Well, you should try to tell them.
Kidding. No, that was good. That was good. You didn't have to say you're kidding. That was very good. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. All right, everybody. Looking forward to being with you often.
He's been reading your notes and your letters and loving them.
Oh, you have no idea. I actually want them all placed in, what do we call it, the Prager Library? I want to keep them for the rest of my life and beyond that.
Yeah, he sounds great.
Yeah.
When we tell people he's really coming back to life, he really is. And he obviously, you hear the humor's there. And the humor has always been there, even before he was speaking this clearly. And his insights are definitely there. And that was really true last night, too.
It's so funny to hear him say, all right, everybody. It's just so him. It just sounds totally like him. So you're watching the president's speech with him.
We watched the State of the Union together. Yeah, it was fun.
So what was that like?
So it was great because he really was providing, as we were watching it, all of these insights about what was happening. So he was, again, like almost prepping to get back on the radio like he would for a traditional radio show or a fireside chat with some of his thoughts and his quips that he would say things. So thanks to you, I wrote them down verbatim as to what how he was saying.
Write everything down. Yes. I just imagine you guys in this hospital in California with the nurses, and you have the State of the Union with Donald Trump up there on the screen. Yeah. Like, what's the reaction? Like, what are the nurses saying?
So we'd always been nervous the whole time. Like, what are the political leanings of his nurses and doctors? Most of the time, they've actually been really, we would think, we don't get into it, but pro-Trump to a certain extent. And the people that were in yesterday were really enjoying listening to the State of the Union. The nurses, I think, were in more often than they usually are even. And you would think if they didn't like Trump, they'd maybe go see other patients during that time.
Did they say anything?
They laughed at it. There's that laugh that people say, oh, that's hilarious. I love that Trump does this, says that, or does that, versus this guy's crazy. This was more the former, where they were really laughing because they, I think, appreciate him.
Yeah.
So they were there and enjoying it.
Yeah, the lucky nurses, they get to watch the State of the Union with Dennis Prager and hear his commentary on it.
Exactly.
So what are some of the things that he said?
So two things really stood out, and I wrote them down verbatim. So one of the things that really he pointed out, first of all, he said it was a great speech. He said he was blown away by the fact I'm going to read this from the paper, that Democrats would not applaud on what should be universally well received. When Trump said that there were only two sexes and not one Democrat applauded, that's frightening to convey the unreality of what the Dems stand for.
Yeah.
So that really stood out to him in a speech where obviously they didn't applaud for anything. That specifically. Number two was he was shocked really by how Zelensky did the right thing, sending that letter that Trump read, and that Trump was very classy in not saying anything beyond what he said. And he said, I'm sure Trump wanted to blast Zelensky.
Yeah, but
based on the previous meeting.
he really he held back.
He held back.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's amazing that Dennis has all this extra time now, so he's listening and to so much more, and he's paying attention to everything that is happening.
Oh.
What is he listening to? Who is he following?
So it's funny. I used to tell him, first of all, he listens to a lot of news items, or watches a lot of podcasts, listens to podcasts. He also is watching a ton of movies. So he used to never watch movies because he was so busy. So I would once in a while say, Dad, you've got to see this movie. I've never seen it. And now it takes a while for me to get to a movie that he hasn't seen because he's watched so many in the last few months, unfortunately, for the reasons. But
where is Dennis Prager getting his news?
So he's getting his news specifically from two podcasts that he really loves. Ben Shapiro. He loves Ben's daily podcast. And he also really loves Konstantin Kissin and trigonometry. So two PragerU alumnuses. I don't know if we would call them.
Well, they're definitely part of the extended family.
Yeah, 100%. Sure. Of course, he loves Alan, and Alan is really filling him up with a lot of information as well.
So Alan Estrin is the producer of Dennis's show, and they have worked together for years. And Alan is continuing to send him the night before the time that Dennis would have broadcasted in the past, right? Yeah. So every night, Alan will send him a list of articles of what is happening in the news, in the world, things that generally Dennis would talk about on the radio. Dennis is still receiving them, and he's still reading through all of them as if he's preparing for his radio show the following day.
Exactly. He's ready. In that way, he's totally ready to get going again. He's so caught up on the news. Yeah,
he's still so in it. Yeah. So fascinating. He mentioned in this voicemail to you and to us that he is thinking about broadcasting again in the near future.
Yeah.
What do you think that looks like?
It's a little bit hard to tell. I don't want to make any promises as to when it is. I mean, obviously, as you hear when his voice sounds that way, which usually is, he's ready to go, seemingly tomorrow. He's got to get home and get set up there, and then he'll be able to broadcast. So we're anticipating sometime in the early spring.
Great. Yeah. Right. Well, we could not be more excited to hear from Dennis again. And, you know, he always has amazing insight. So the lucky nurses get to hear most of it and some of the family members, but soon he'll come back to us too.
Yeah, exactly. Very soon. And
thank you. Thank you all. Thanks for all your prayers and your contributions and your support. We are sharing all of it with Dennis, and it just means a lot to us. So keep the letters coming.
Thank you.